The journey within.
A talk about mental health. Hello, and good afternoon. This is the second episode with your favorite team, the mental health team. Today is kind of cold in Sigashwara, that's why I'm curled up in a blanket. As you can see, now you can see us. It's amazing. How do you feel? And I have with me, I'm Kat, and I'm from Portugal, and I have with me Nagore, that is still from Spain.
Hello.
I didn't change country in the meantime.
No, not yet.
AC from Denmark.
Hello.
And representing Italy, Alessia.
I feel like in the Eurovision. Hello.
How are you guys feeling?
Good. I'm good. Quite excited.
I'm a little bit nervous. It's our last episode. I hope it's going to be good.
I'm also a bit nervous this time, but it's going to be fine.
It's going to be great. Let's go. Alessia, what are we talking about today?
Yes, today we are going to be a little bit deeper in our journey within. And once again, we are going to talk about mental health. And this time we are going to focus on emotional health. So how we deal with our emotions, how our emotions affect us, and all the pressures or the inputs that we can have from our environment. And once again, we want to underline that we are not health professionals. So we want to remind our listeners that we are using this space to raise awareness about mental health as a topic. And as I said before, during this hour together, we are going to talk about emotional health by sharing some facts and some personal experiences and opinions. And the reason why we decided to talk about emotional health or hygiene is because we think it's not really considered a priority in our society and is still stigmatized to show and deal with your emotion as many other things related to mental health. It's actually surprising to realize how much the underestimation of mental health may become an economic burden for the whole society. It is in fact estimated that mental health disorders, in terms of loss of productivity and health and social expenses, cost 4% of the EU GDP. And there are studies saying that the percentage is going to rise in the future. And I mean, generally when we deal with the physical health, we completely change attitude comparing to mental health. For example, if you break your leg, nobody's going to tell you just stand up and walk. But if you are dealing with some emotional struggles or some mental health issues, people usually come to you and just say, "Oh, get over it, move on, it's gonna be fine." It's like the American movies, it's gonna be okay. So we want to talk and tackle the topic of vulnerability and emotions, and also because we actually don't receive education about this. We learn so many things in school, but nobody teaches us how to recognize and deal with our emotions. So in order to tackle this topic, we are going to have a debate, a sort of chit-chat among us about different aspects related to emotional health. So, girls, ready?
No.
Yes, let's go. Kat is always ready, don't worry, guys. I want to start by asking you, how was your relation with the mental health while growing up?
It's an interesting question, actually. I mean, I grew up not really talking about my emotions. First of all, I love my mom a lot, and I do not blame her for
Disclaimers.
anything. But with this said, no, we were not talking about emotions at all. But also because of some things that happened in my childhood, like my mom went through a divorce and all this kind of stuff. So we were just dealing with it. My mom was working all the time, so probably it's understandable when she was coming back home, the only thing she wanted to do was rest, and we were just like, "Oh, how are you? Good, fine, period." So yeah, we were not going really deep into it. And yeah, I think we had this kind of culture of not speaking in order sometimes not to hurt each other or not to worry and stuff like this. And I mean, it was not the best thing because we were kind of hiding everything. Even sometimes we were just super angry to each other without any reason. And I guess we were just hiding also some other emotions. And also in my family, we don't have a lot of male representation. So, for instance, my grandma will always say that not showing emotions was really connected with being strong, and that we had to be strong to be, to survive in a world that was ruled by men, to say it like that. But yeah, like summing up, no, I didn't deal with emotions at all. But I mean, I'm still here, so.
We're happy about
that.
I think for me, when I was a kid, I feel like there were room for emotions, like happy emotions at least. We talked a lot about being happy, having a great day, like we were open about that. And I think when I was sad, looking back now, I would show it with anger, and be like frustrated, not knowing how to deal with emotions. I was just angry a lot of the time, especially at my parents after they got divorced. I was really angry with them for like ruining our family structure and so on. And I think now looking back, I was probably just really, really sad and not angry at all, but really sad and really like lonely, and not being able to express like emotions in any other way than just being angry. So probably not like the best way. I was raised with like emotional health, but at the time I didn't think about it. I didn't think they were like an alternative. So yes.
I kind of I can see your point of view, because I guess in my house we would speak about emotions if they were positive emotions. The other emotions don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was a lot of that going on, and obviously you carry that with you through your life because you learn how to repress emotions if they're not positive, and that's not very good. It's not a very nice feeling.
Wow.
Yeah, for me it was a bit different because actually my family emotions were always okay, like maybe sometimes too much. Both good and bad emotions. Like we are not people with a lot of filters, to be honest. But maybe the validation of emotions was kind of personal for depending like on my father, my mother, my sister. Like everyone had his own understanding of it, and that's why sometimes we still collide. But generally I wouldn't say that we were not talking about emotions or we were not listening to each other's emotions. It was actually fine. And actually for me, like I grew up as a teenager, for me that was the idea of end of life, like this kind of movie, and like a romantic life. Everything is about emotions.
You're
everything
dramatic.
Yeah, I'm a bit a drama queen sometimes. But yeah, and it was actually sometimes difficult to realize that life wouldn't have been like that, and you crash into reality and you understand that you have to be also realistic sometimes, and it's nice to recognize your emotions and to deal with them, like to also have kind of control over them. But you cannot always show your emotion, like if you are working and you have tasks and you have to go with it. I couldn't go to school, and because it happened that I was crying during the classes, and if I think about that now, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Not because it's wrong to cry, but because for me it was really normal. Like it was something that with this idea of movie I had to do, like because that's how it works in movie. Like there are these dramatic moments, and I want the same. And nope.
Speaking of parents and parenting, have you ever heard of the concept of gentle parenting?
Yes, a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to give us some more
I
insights?
will explain. Yeah, this is I would say it's kind of a new concept. At least I don't know a lot of people that were raised this way, but it's pretty much just validating your kids' feelings and frustrations and emotions, and instead of getting frustrated with kids, redirecting their attitudes and their actions, because that's what kids do. Kids test limits, and that's what they're here for. And I think I honestly, I'm not going to talk about statistics because, again, it's kind of new. We don't really know a lot of adults that were raised in this environment. So I'm just speaking not from experience. I'm just telling you about it.
Really? You don't want to talk about your kids?
Yeah, my kid is great. He's amazing. Yeah, but the thing is, I think it's interesting because if we think about it, we put so many expectations on kids. We just don't put in adults. Like, adults have emotions and we learn to control them because we learn them in childhood, and that's developing years. That's what happens in childhood. And like, we don't scream at adults when they have a reaction. We don't hit them most of the times. We try to control them, and we don't put that on a child that doesn't know, that hasn't learned yet how to control themselves. And it's weird how that we have. Okay, so little disclaimer. I'm not trying to tell anyone that's listening how to parent your child. I am not a parent. I don't know how hard it is, I imagine, but I'm just telling you about this concept because I think it's interesting, especially if we're talking about emotions. And we understand if you're a parent and you're really tired, and you have a screaming 2-year-old in your face, you're gonna get a reaction because that's what they want. So we're not telling how to parent your children. Okay, that's just a little disclaimer.
But talking about parents, since we are not parents, I am also taking into consideration what Kat was saying. How is now your perspective about your parents? Because we can have an insight as children, as daughters. Did it change over time the way you think about your parents?
Yeah, definitely. I talk actually with my mother a lot of times, and we both understand that it was not the best way in the past to deal with emotions, but we all acknowledge that, and we talk about it a lot of times. And I think for her now it's easier to talk with me since it's more like an adult, but I think it should be like that when you're a kid as well. Just not trying to change the behavior of your kid by just saying no without a reason or stuff like this, but just try to talk with them and just see what's going on. And in the end, you are sharing emotions, and it's easier for you to understand the other person if you know how they feel and why they feel like that. But yeah, it definitely changed. Now we talk a lot about our emotions, and it's super easy to have a conversation with her and just not to discuss about anything. It's just so super smooth, so it's really nice.
I think for sure also for me it changed. When I was a kid, it seems to be like there was a big distance. Like they didn't understand anything I was thinking, and they were like so old, and they were like not going through any of the things I was going through and so on. And while I grew up, they also kind of grew up with me, so now I get a lot of the like choices they made. And I also think now when I talk about it, they also get a lot of the choices that I made. And the talks we have now, like also when like I said, like it's more like eye to eye. Like you're older now, you're more of an adult, you realize that your parents are also human, and they also treat you like human. Like Kat said, like they don't yell at you anymore. They're not that unfair, and they actually respect your feelings, your opinions. So there's no need of all this like yelling and anger and so on, because you can just talk, not as you were friends, but as like respected and so on. So for me, it's my relationship now is really good with my parents, and I don't tell them everything, but I can tell them the stuff I need, and I know that I can depend on them, and that they will accept whatever I'm feeling and not just yell at me or say like, oh, you don't understand because you're just a kid, or nothing like that anymore. So that's super nice.
Also, it's a learning process for everyone.
Yeah.
Because if we think about it, I mean, my parents had me in their 30s, but a lot of parents have kids in their 20s. Mm-hmm. It's like, could you imagine having a child now and having to deal with it? And so they're
no,
growing.
Thanks. Mom, forget it if you're listening.
Everyone is growing, except one of us is not developed yet, and it's harder. Mm-hmm. But yeah, all of us are growing, and it's a learning process for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like nobody was taught how to be a parent.
Exactly.
So and I think that is also something important for us to realize as we become adult children, let's say, to realize, like, to look differently at our parents and the way we grow up and the decisions they made, while especially during teenage years, like you blame your parents almost for everything.
Oh, yeah.
Or your issues come from them. They are the devil of this world. And actually you realize that they made choices thinking what is best for you. And as an adult, you know that maybe that was not the right way for you, but it wasn't their fault. I mean, we do that like with our peers all the time, so I think it's kind of the same. And also for me, it's important to kind of have a healthy emotional life, to understand that all the things that we take as our emotional baggage during our life, we can actually destroy some of those things and to rebuild with the new tools that we learn during the way. And it's not easy. It's not easy at all. But I also think that it's normal to struggle with parents. Like, it's a generational gap. It's different economic, social situations, family situations, the way they grew up and the way they raised us. So I think at some point is about trying to tolerate, and I don't think, for example, my parents, I think they tolerate me. Not me, but my choices. No, I know they love me. I love them back. But I don't think they fully understand some of my choices, and it's normal. I cannot do anything. I can try to make it easier for them, but at some point, if they don't understand, it's not up to me. Like, I'm going on my own way. So, after this amazing discussion about our childhood traumas,
we love you, parents. Sometimes.
Another important setting while growing up is the school institution, and there are a lot of studies saying that teenagers are usually the more likely to suffer from mental disorders, especially because they don't have the tools to deal with them. So how was your experience like in school? Did you have some of those amazing teachers that was asking you about your emotions, or just dictators?
No, I was surrounded by nuns that they were just like, you need to study, you need to study, you need to study. But yes, I think school is really, really linked to stress and having anxiety, and then that is linked to not having like the best grades ever. And then if you have, I don't know, parents that are expecting a lot from you, that can lead to a lot of stress. And especially in the end, I think it's also the result of also not having a lot of education, meaning, for example, the teachers, they are not trained in mental health. They don't really know, and in the end they are spending a lot of time with you, and you expect from the teacher something, but they cannot give it to you. Like, you cannot talk about most of the teachers about mental health because they also don't know how to deal with it. And that's so bad in the end, because you feel alone, or just like with a lot of pressure. Yes, misunderstood. Yes.
Yeah. For me, I had like PE, like physical education, that was mandatory, I think, for almost everyone around Europe. A lot of that. We learned different sports. It was fine. I had a little bit of sexual education, also nice. Never had 10 minutes about emotional health, emotional education. Never. I'm not expecting it. Maybe it probably would have been really great, but I don't think the school system in Denmark is like at all focusing on it.
If Denmark is not focusing on it, who is?
I was honestly thinking about it. I was like, if in Denmark they're not carrying
the other schools in Europe are prisons.
For me, I mean, I did not care for school at all. I definitely, again, I can trace it back to my parents. The grades I had, they were not great, but I passed because of my parents, because they wanted me to pass, and I was scared of not passing. You know, so that's school for me. And that's, again, we're talking parenting again, but it's something, it's not great. You know, you need to, the kid is not passing because they want to learn and they want to have a future, whatever. They're just passing because they're scared of you and your reaction. That is not healthy for anyone. And that's honestly, that's me in school, straight up about that. I mean, not in college, because I was actually having fun with it and I liked what I learned. Obviously, I chose it. And But school, the 12 years of school were hell. Hell.
No, I have to say for me it wasn't hell. But I also wasn't questioning myself that much. Like, I was studying, not a lot, but I was performing quite well. And I didn't question myself if it was okay or not to talk about emotions. Like, no, I'm supposed to study, I'm supposed to have good grades, and that's it. It's my job. Like, I didn't have any other opinion at the time. But I had some teachers who were more focused on not emotions, it's maybe more critical thinking and self-reflection, these kind of tools. And I remember my philosophy teacher in high school. One day she just came and she said, take the books away and take a piece of paper and some pencils and put on your headphones, listen to music, and just draw what you think is your universe. And then you write a text about it. And we had an event, and it was pretty cool. She also had a background in pedagogic studies, so it makes sense. But yeah, I really liked, and also makes sense for philosophy actually. But it helped kind of also to feel that there was not, that wall between the teacher and the student. And I really appreciate it. I think it's one of my best experiences from my school.
I definitely had some good teachers as well. I had some really bad teachers, and you know who you are if you're listening. Imagine. I had some really bad teachers, but I had amazing. Yeah, I remember one teacher. She would stop me sometimes after class and ask me how I was doing. Oh, you look a little down. You're not focusing. You're not participating, and that was really great.
I mean, I also had a teacher that only one. But she was amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, we had also a teacher that I think we affected their mental health.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I remember because the last year of high school we were fighting so much and among each other in the classroom, and this teacher cared about us so much that she was suffering actually that we were not getting along.
Yeah.
And at the end, when we had the exams, she told us, I will never get attached to some other students anymore. I cannot do this anymore. And she's quite young, actually.
Oh, no. Okay.
Prof, if you're listening, hi.
Hi. Hello.
No, but that's also the thing, that Nagore says that you can also not expect it from teachers to be with all of us, asking all of us, how is your day, how is it, it's too much. They also have the actual job, but it's scary to me that we don't learn about it at all. When people go to fitness every day, they work out, we are so much obsessed with our diet, everything, and we don't learn about what it causes you to be lonely or depressed or nothing. We don't read statistics, we don't read books. So that's, I think, there's something that needs to change at least.
And even as a teenager, you kind of feel entitled to be vulnerable. You actually don't share it.
Yeah.
It's it's normal. Everyone says that, but you don't actually deal with it.
No.
So this can give you a burden for many years, and it's difficult sometimes to get rid of it. And after this, we are going to have a break.
A little break.
And we are coming back soon.
Oh, baby, don't get me wrong. You have been singing the same old song again, and now you're saving all your loving for someone who's loving you. Lemon pop, it's all a mess. Since you started going out, I've been seeing you much less. I've forgotten what the past has done. My eyes are still on you. If this is love, I'm getting off. Take me home, I've had enough this time. Sweetheart, it's a disgrace. Wipe the smile, the frown, the tears from your face, and accept the love you lost without a trace. Little girl, it'll turn out fine. Put your faith in love, and you might find that everything falls into place just like it should. If this is is love I'm getting off. Take me home, I've had enough this time. I'm alright. Don't get me wrong, you have been singing the same old song again, and now you're saving all your loving for someone who's loving you. Lemon pop, it's all a mess. Since you started going out, I've been seeing you much less. I've forgotten what the past has done, my eyes are still on you. If this is love I'm getting off, take me home, I've had enough.
The journey within.
A talk about mental health.
And welcome back. So, let's go on our journey within, and which is, I think, it's being quite cathartic for all of us. Like, I feel that at least, and I love it. So, going more into the bigger picture, so into society and how society makes us feel about emotion. We basically deal every day with the fear of not being enough in different fields, from like work related, family related, with our friends, and all the pressure that we feel. We were talking about anxiety in the other episode, and it's kind of also connected to that. And one of the main problems in this matter is our culture of failure and our understanding of success in life. I think that both of them should be redefined, and I want to hear your opinion about this.
I don't fail.
Period.
No, I have this really big problem that I did to work, and I'm trying to work on it. If I feel like I'm gonna fail, I don't try, period. And it's a lot easier to
Avoid?
Yeah, to avoid those feelings of failure if you don't, like, I wasn't trying hard enough, so it's fine. Like, who cares? Who cares? Yeah, I really need to work on that. But how do you guys feel about it?
I told you the other day that Beckett used to say, fail again, fail better.
I hate that. I don't live.
It was try again, feel again. Oh, I don't remember.
I don't live by those words. I don't live by those words.
But there was fail better for sure.
Sounds like something a loser would say. I don't live by those words.
What are you trying to say?
No, I don't.
But I kind of understand, for example, what you said, that you don't try enough, so then you don't fail. But that's, for me at least, it's also kind of connected to the being afraid of success in a way, because then when you're succeeding in something, you kind of feel the pressure of being like that all the time. And just like, now they feel that I'm like that, so I have the pressure to be like that or better all the time, because if I'm going down, then it's again the failure and again feeling bad. I don't know. It's
you set a bar and you can only go down.
Yeah. For me, there's also no success without failure in the end. I love to fail a lot of times, and then when I'm doing it is when I'm really feel like this is a success, I don't really know how to explain it, but it's, for example, if I will be playing a quiz with kids that are 6 and I'm 24 and I'm winning, for me, that for me is not success. But if I'm playing with people that is older than me and I'm winning, or even if I'm not winning, but I go quite high, for me it's already, even if I don't win it, for me that's success in the end.
Nagore wants to be sure that our listeners know that we won the quiz night yesterday again.
That was success, you know, and we were feeling the pressure. Of
Yes,
winning, you know?
yes, actually, yes. That's an example.
I didn't try, so I
didn't try at all.
Doesn't matter.
So it's okay.
But yeah, and in the end we had a lot of bad feelings connected to failure. I don't know, that it's embarrassing or you feel ashamed by it. And for me it's also like super connected with school sometimes.
Yeah.
Because if you're asking me a question that, I don't know, it's culture or something, it's okay if you don't have to know everything. But sometimes in school, when you are saying something and it's not the correct answer, they're just like kind of embarrassing you or shaming you, and the kids are laughing about it, and it's just like, okay, I will just not say anything from now on. I will not try, like Kat said, and that's all. But I think, I don't know, it's fine, you know, to fail. And
yeah, it's important.
You know?
It's a learning process.
Yeah, I think it's super sad that, because when you're a kid, I don't think you care that much. Like when you're in kindergarten, whatever, you just have fun and you just try, learn a lot of stuff. Like in order to, for example, speak a new language, you have to just say so many words and you learn like on the way. But when you grow older, like you're only allowed to raise your hands if you know the like exact question, and you have to say what teacher was exactly like thinking. You get points, how many right you get, like not about the learning process anymore, just about like the end result, being right, having to learn the right answer. Like there's only one answer to every question. I think it's super sad. Like at the end of the day, when you get out of school, you have to go to a company, everyone is super afraid of failing, like it doesn't work. It's super sad for me.
What about you, Kat?
I already told you.
Yes. She's never failing.
I mean,
but it's true that it's sad, because in the end, when you fail, you're just blaming yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Like for example, when you don't have a job, I cannot find a job. It's because I don't deserve a job.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible person. It's like, no, you can just not find it. Like, I mean, it's fine. Something will appear, maybe not, but
or like
it's all the time blaming yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
like that a person doesn't like you in a group of like, oh no, I'm a terrible person. Everyone
Yeah,
hates
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
I hate my life.
Yeah. We are our first enemy. Like
For
Yes,
sure.
that's for
absolutely.
sure. But for me, for example, it was the opposite. Like when I was in school, I cared more about the result and to have a good grade. So also because my grandmother's sister was giving me money for every good mark, so I was like, okay, that's a push. Right now, I focus more on the learning process.
Yeah.
Like I want actually to learn things, and I don't care if I can even I even allow myself to make the mistake of the decision. Like I want to learn this, and it was a bad decision to learn this. I'm not good for it. I'm not cut for this. I should do something else that is more close to my attitude. And I think this is the volunteering mindset actually that totally got me. Because here we generally focus much more on the learning process and the way we learn. And I think is quite important. Even though I still feel the pressure, like, of course, from society that I should get a job, I should, I don't know, be independent from my family, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it was as soon as I finished school, I wanted to learn. Like now, I wanted to go to Romania, learn new people, learn new cultures. Like by myself, like wanting to read new books and really interested in other people's like music, some videos, or like whatever. Going to different countries and learning new languages and so on. I really want to learn new stuff, and in school that got completely killed. Like I only learned for like my teachers or whatever, like only to get a good grade. Now I don't get any grades, I don't get any points, but I still want to watch like documentaries. I still want to learn about other cultures, like history of other countries and so on. I find that it's really interesting now, but it's super sad that in school that completely just got turned off.
Yeah, I think the whole system it's just bad, not good. No, like the more we talk, because for example, I had good grades when I was a kid. Do I remember something? No, absolutely anything.
Yeah, that's also my thing. Like at the university, I was like, I had a method and it worked.
Yeah.
But it worked like on the short term, and I was like, the exams were going well. after 2 months, if you were asking me like what I had the exam about, I was like, I mean, I remember the topic. But
Yeah, it's super weird. Like,
That's
imagine you learn that way. Just
Yeah.
But
so
I
short,
definitely
so.
feel that's I feel like I can definitely, like I told before, tell the difference between college and school, because in school, again, you were forced to learn those things and it didn't matter. I don't remember absolutely anything from school. But like university, I was enjoying it so much that I actually remember stuff. And that's learning. That's what learning should be. You should be liking what you're learning.
And it's also about the way you were taught.
Yeah.
Because I remember much more the things that I had from good teachers.
Yeah.
And bad
Absolutely.
teachers, I remember jokes or this kind of stuff, but I don't remember exactly what they taught me.
Yeah.
Because they're paid better.
Because what?
They're paid better.
But I don't know, it's just because I'm just like still thinking about it, how bad is also for your emotional part, because I remember in high school I was not in the best place, like the best part of my life. I wasn't just not feeling like it, and you will see these people that they had the gift that they will study everything the day before, they will have a 10 and they will be like amazing, and then you will be trying so hard to pass the exam but not being able because of emotional stuff to study and things like that, and they are not caring about the effort that you are putting, and they just care about the result. And there was just a point that I was like, doesn't matter how hard I'm gonna try, I will never make it, so what's the point, you know?
There's also like this whole thing of, oh, you don't study because you're lazy. It's sometimes it's not that.
Yes.
And I've been told that my whole life, oh, you're so smart but you're so lazy, you don't have good grades because you're lazy. No, maybe I was struggling a lot with studying and I couldn't concentrate and I didn't like what I was doing, and it was really hard for me to focus and study. I hated it. And I've told you this, I hated it.
And again, I think it's because it's easier to focus on your failures than to realize what actually is your success.
Yes.
And because success for us in our society is usually the result, is something concrete that you achieve. But actually it's successful also just to learn. It's successful to have experiences, to learn about other opportunities, to learn from the others. And I feel like the youth pass right now. It's all the 8 competencies.
And also, we could also talk about how it's only respectful what you do if it's, productive. Like, art is not art. Art is okay. You're studying arts, that's cute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's more like a hobby, it's not a real job.
Yeah,
And
that's
just
cute.
like
I mean,
Because there are, unfortunately, due to the unemployment situation, there are jobs that work, so it's worth studying something that actually will give you a job. But if you study something else, it's like maybe it's a passion or something that you can cultivate in your free time. It's like, no,
Also-
I studied.
also, you're stupid if you don't know maths. You're stupid. Like,
You have to be fit for the right
in
school
the end, like,
system.
society is not like, if you are a creative person, or if you are like, I don't know, just dreaming about something, they're just like not taking it seriously, and they are only like, the only people that is valuable is the one that is gonna work. And it's just like a machine that will repeat the same thing all the time just to be productive, and it's like, oh yeah, you are doing great.
Yeah.
It's like, but who likes that? Like, are you happy being like that? Because I don't think so.
Yeah. And talking about this, I wanted to ask you, how do you see your future with this kind of society? Because I was thinking that I think all of us, we kind of agree that we want to live a life that maybe in this moment doesn't match with what society expects from us. We are okay with failing. We are okay with not having maybe the, the awards for something. But it's difficult because it actually collides with the reality. It's not possible at some point to, like, society ask you to be productive and to perform, and you kind of get into that vortex. So how do you think you are going to deal with this, with all your emotional baggage?
I think for me there's too much pressure of like you always have to do something productive, as Kat said. Like you always have to have something to do, and even though I'm taking a gap year, like I'm actually supposed to not do anything productive, people are still disappointed if you spend your free time doing something that to them seems worthless. And for example, coming here in Romania and the corona situation like changed and we couldn't do the work, I also felt by myself, like because of probably society, I take their like norms, whatever, and take them to myself, like, oh, we should do something more, we should work more, we should be more productive, like we're wasting our time because you cannot put like a diploma on this, you cannot put a degree on this because we don't get any points for being here or anything. So I can, for sure, I think I'm hardest on myself because at the end of the day, nobody really cares as much as you do about your own life. But for me, I'm for sure too hard on myself. Like if I have a week where I'm doing nothing, I'm like, you're wasting your time, like you're only young ones, everyone is traveling, everyone is like working, earning money, like you're just reading your book, watching TikTok, like it's not a great life. So like I put so much pressure on myself not wasting time, and I think that is really sad. Like at the end of the day, if you're happy, I think it's okay.
I used to think a lot about the future, but not right now. I don't do it anymore.
Same.
Like it's better for myself, you know. Now I'm doing this. I'm fine with it. What I'm gonna do tomorrow, I will see tomorrow. You know, I don't think I will have the same job for the rest of my life. I hope.
I hope no.
You know, of course, like you need money to survive, but I just don't see myself all the time in the same place and all the time doing the same thing. You never know.
And do you think this is a result of actually how you grew up? Like the fact that you don't think about the long term.
Ooh.
Is this something?
Whoa. I mean, yes, I was planning so much in the past, nothing worked. And right now, I'm just like, why I'm gonna waste my time planning the future when the future is never working and everything's changing all the time? Like it doesn't make sense anymore. So I'm just trying just to live the moment, and that's all, you know. Also, sorry, because if I really think about the future, it also gives me a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
So I just prefer not to do it.
But it seems super healthy. Like that's so nice.
It should be. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with Nagore now because I was, oh god, after I finished high school, I went to college and I had a lot of plans. I was going up there. I was gonna go to
win
Hollywood, win an Oscar, have kids, and get married, and all under 30. All by the age of 30, I was going to accomplish all of that. And I was really stressed, like, oh, I know, I need to finish college now, and I need to move now, and because I'm running out of time. I'm only 22. I'm running out of time. I'm really running out of time. And I was like, you know what?
You cannot say that. I am running out of time.
No, you're not. You're absolutely not.
Yeah, actually, yes. I'm going to
Maybe
reply that.
Maybe we'll be all there by tomorrow, right? Yeah.
I'm going to reply to that after.
But yeah, now I'm honestly, I'm here now, and whatever happens next. We'll see. Maybe I'll move and get an Oscar, but
You never know.
it'll be their time. Everything will happen in their own time.
Remember about us, okay?
I will thank you in my speech.
Thank you.
Ooh,
Perfect.
I like that.
That's an achievement that I want to have. That's a success for me.
Yes, I tried. Yes.
But yeah, generally for me it's still a kind of a work in progress, because people would say that I am a planner. I like to plan also, I don't know, when I travel, not to plan every step, but at least to know the places that I want to visit and check the working hours, the prices of the ticket, this kind of stuff. And I didn't have many long-term plans in my mind, but still this anxiety, this stress, this pressure of achieving something and getting somewhere. And now I'm starting to realize that even though I don't see concrete results maybe about my life, I actually did a lot.
Yeah.
I did a lot of things, and I'm so happy about that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't exchange that for a secure job, a safe job in this moment. All my experience, all the things I had, the people I met, the emotions I had, it's amazing. For me, that was life-changing. And sometimes I still feel the pressure because I'm running out of time. And it would be amazing to volunteer until the end of my life. But I think as mindset is kind of it's my jam. Yes, I love it. But it's not possible. And for me, it's very difficult to channel this energy in something, in only one thing. I cannot. Like, I don't picture myself to have the same job for the rest of my life, but at the same time, the pressure that I have is actually from society, and it's not because society is pushing me to get only one job and do that for the rest of my life, but because society doesn't give me the certainty that I will actually have a job.
Yeah.
And that one day I can wake up and change that job and find another one. I don't have that certainty. So with that, I would be like the happiest person in the world. Like, just to have the certainty that I can change, that society allows me to change.
And it's also really nice because I can see that you're really proud of everything you've ever done, your achievements,
it's
and
super
it's
nice.
really nice. And I basically, for a long time, I was living like, okay, now I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna wait until the day is over so I can go to sleep, and the next day will come and just be another day closer till I have my Oscar. That's how I lived. I lived my life for a real long time, and it's, yeah.
I think it's important to set some goals somehow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
also something that I miss. Like, I know that I don't have goals. So that makes things difficult for me to actually decide which direction to take. But a goal is different than a plan. Like,
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now,
definitely.
I wouldn't like to have a plan. I would like to have a goal and then work for it in order to
Yeah.
achieve it.
Nicely put.
You're welcome. You can call me anytime for some advice.
Life advice.
So, going back to after our discussion, we also want to kind of give some tips about how to work on your emotional health. And for example, as we said, it's important to recognize how you feel and to validate your emotions, bad and good. There is no bad or no good emotion. And exactly because emotional pain also has symptoms, so you can perceive it that something is wrong. And actually even your body can react because your physical health is affected by your mental health. I think you have the statistics somewhere that there are 14% chances higher to have health problems if you have mental problems. So it's actually something that can affect your daily life, also from the physical point of view. And it's important to acknowledge and accept your feelings. And it's also important, if you feel that you cannot do it alone, to reach out and to share, to communicate with the others, and be kind to yourself, kind of. I remember my former flatmate, that's the last thing that she told me before leaving, like, I hope like you will find a lot of things and you will be fully busy as you like, but remember to be kind to yourself.
Yes.
That's
And
important.
it's important because that voice in your head is always so critical. So how to deal with that, because I don't think you can just kill it, but how to deal with it is very important. And another thing that might help you is to find your purpose, to find the meaning and your way to have a meaningful life. And now we are going to have another break. And we are coming back soon. We don't leave you.
No, don't leave us.
It's been a long fucking year, I'm staying sober now. I can't deal with the stress I get from going out. Going out. Then you call up my phone, you want a night out. No, I wanna say no, but you're outside my house. Inside my house. You always get me there, I can't say no to you. I'll always take a dare, 'cause I can't take the truth. This is all your fault, but I'm not blaming you. I'm way too fucking gone, I need you to be cool. I need you to be cool. Stay up with me. spinning out. Somebody give me a call, I think I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. She took too many bumps and now she's seeing sound. I got nothing to say and I feel lame as hell. Lame as hell. I wanted to stay home, wanted to have a beer. Now I'm in some club and I don't like it here. You're looking at me now, I know I'm way too drunk. Think I'm passing out, but I wanna stay up. And I want you to stay up, stay up with me. Friends making moves to get you in his Porsche. Think you feed my drink, thinking it was yours, that it wasn't yours. Now I'm so fucking gone, attendance of the cheese, like a slow motion song, it's playing on repeat, on repeat. Need you to stay with me, stay
The journey within.
A talk about mental health.
And we are back again.
Hello.
Back again.
And we are going towards the end. But before that, I want to ask you briefly, considering all this kind of toxicity that we have in from our families or from our teachers or all kind of relations. Do you want to share something about some tips or some ideas about how to avoid these toxic relations in whatever field?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert in toxic relationships because I don't have a lot of relations. But, like sorry, I was talking before, like
you're relating to us, so how can you not be toxic to us? So how does that work for you?
I mean, I think I was talking that, for example, when I was a kid, sharing emotions was connected with being weak and all that stuff. So I think to be vulnerable is actually really important because normally, we are super ashamed of sharing how we feel and everything. But then if someone else is actually sharing and opening up to you, you're like, oh, this is so nice. But then it's your turn and you're just like freaking out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm not telling about like telling people all your whole life, but just like speaking a bit about emotions. And I'm actually super bad at sharing emotions. I'm really, really, really bad. But I'm like trying every time more and more. And I actually think that it's super, super positive when it comes to relations. Friends, family, like whatever. And I don't know, everything's like life is vulnerable in the end, and it makes us like connect to each other. So I actually don't think being vulnerable is to be weak, but it's to be powerful. I don't know.
But I think you are underlying also something maybe without realizing it.
Tell me a lesson. Yeah.
Secret reveal.
Therapist.
Because you are aware actually of the fact how you deal with your emotion, that is good or bad, but self-awareness I think is the first step.
Self-awareness is really important.
Even though maybe the way we act out there in the world doesn't always work out, the fact that you know it's important. So good job again, Nagor.
Thank you so much.
But I agree with you, Nagor, with like opening up and being vulnerable about like bad, or like not bad, but like more sad emotions, whatever. But I also think it's important to avoid toxic relationship, but also to build strong relationship, to like be vulnerable about more happy emotions, to say like,
Yeah.
I miss you, I love you, I appreciate you. Because I think that, at least for me, I say that way too little. And I think it's quite common, like, to just say to even like your parents, your friends, like, everyone to say, I appreciate you. I think that is also a way to build stronger and more meaningful connections, but also to like create a space where you can also talk about more difficult emotions later on. To say that I actually appreciate you, I feel safe with you, and so on. I think that is also really important.
Yes. All friends and relatives out there, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank for all the support that you have given us in our lives. But yeah, it's really important, because it's true. We focus too much on bad emotions, considering them bad, and we don't know how to cultivate joy anymore, and happiness, and this kind of stuff. Because I think it is also what Nagore said before. Because we think about the future too much, so we are not able to be mindful, so to be present and aware of our emotions right now, in our state of mind right now. And this is another aspect of emotional health that
we could talk about this for 3-4 hours,
but we don't have all the time. So just to sum up what we have talked about in this almost hour together, we generally try to tackle the topic of emotional health, so try to identify some sources of anxiety again, or something that affects our emotions from the external, but also some journey, let's say, that we can undertake to recognize our own emotions and how to deal with it. And we had actually a lot of topics. We tried to cover as much as we could, and to share our opinions about it. And I think we are done.
That's it for today's, folks, and forever from us. We'll see you.
We'll stop.
We'll see you. We'll see you.
Sorry, but talking about appreciation, I want to thank you all, because you have been the best teammates ever.
No, actually, thank you for my
emotional.
Yeah, no, it was really nice. It's sad that it's over. It was so fast.
Yeah, it's over.
Cry, cat, cry. I want to see you cry. Embrace your emotion.
Yes. I guess she's actually about to cry.
Okay, so
we just want to remind our audience that we are done for today, and our topic about mental health is over. But our colleagues are waiting for you on Monday, and they are going to talk about sexual health. And don't forget to follow us on our social media. And we were Alessia.
okay.
Nagore.
And AC.
Okay. Stay tuned. La rivedere.
Bye.
The journey within.
A talk about mental health.